Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today we're kind of going to give you a tour of our off-grid watering system, or our water, and a couple things we're going to do. We're upgrading. Now the whole time we've been out here, we've kind of started with this tank all by itself with nothing but a hose bib on it that we drained into our RV, and we've added along the way. So I'll show you what we added and what was the first step. But our first step was hose bib on this tank. We gravity drained it down there to our RV, and then we used the RV pump. Then we moved up and put a pressure tank in and a pump and all that stuff. But we're going to upgrade again. So the idea today is we are going to cut this tank out, drain it, move it over here to where it's going to be for our home. And we're going to have a whole new setup for the pump. We got bigger line in the ground so we can suction more water. This one's only a 1-inch, so it's really not big enough for the pump. And then, yeah, so we'll have to drain this, move it. Then we're going to move the pump out of our RV trailer into the home. And then eventually the goal is we're going to have everything inside the home, and we're going to get permitted, or we're going to have an inspection on the plumbing side of our home. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to cut it off right here. That way, I'll make sure I have the right fitting here. I believe this is a 2-inch. So we'll cut it here. And if we have the wrong parts, then I could go ahead and glue this back together and then get the parts before we lose water. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, so this is the new. Look at the size difference here. It's basically almost double the volume. So that's going to be on there. So let's go ahead and pop that off real quick just to make sure we have the right size. It's really going to come out now. So there you go, look at that. It's the right size. You can see the reduction was massive. So, all right, we can move forward. This is the 1.25-inch pipe. This goes down into the home. We also leveled this area out. It's all ready to go to set the tank here. And yeah, so we'll get it over here. Once we get it over here, we'll cut this to size and put a valve on it so we can shut the tank off independently. And then we'll walk into the inside and take a look at what we got going on in there. So it's really gonna be kind of a stressful day. So we've pre-done as much as we can, even getting our totes of water here, because we have to drain that system. We got to roll it over here, put it in its place, and then put water in it. And usually it could take 4 hours just by delivering water and getting everything filled up. 2 loads of these tanks. So we kind of set ourselves up today to maybe be able to get it all done in one day, because if this doesn't go all right, we won't have water today, because we're going to tear everything apart. We're removing the pump, putting it over there. So it's kind of a stressful thing. So we did every little thing we can ahead of time to make sure that we get through this day. Okay, so this is that same pipe coming through the concrete here. So this will be the suction side of the pump. And then we'll have our tank right here and the motor and all that good stuff. Then, so right now, our water actually is coming from the trailer in here to feed our washer and dryer, or our washer for the water. So what we're gonna do, once we move everything over, we're just gonna run this back the other direction so our trailer still has water. So this will supply the trailer water, because we're still gonna be living in there. Some cool little upgrades I'll show you later here. I got some ideas to where We're going to use some technology to shut down our pump if there's ever a leak and we're not around. So we'll get into that later. But all right, let's start working. Here's our pump. This actually sucks. The suction from the tank comes in here, and then it pushes the water out into the pressure tank. This is how we've had it set up. You know, the second iteration is when we got rid of the garden hose and we started pumping water into our trailer here. We had this and the pump, and that was it. And then later we've added sprinklers, or a sprinkler control valve to do our watering. And then the last thing we did was we added filters so we can actually start drinking the water. So everything kind of is hodgepodged in here. We're removing all this that's going out into the garage, including the tank. We're going to rewire everything. It's all going to be redone. And then the water will come back into the trailer, because this goes out to the house right now. It'll come back into the trailer, right into this, and then go right back into our system here. So it'll be simplified in here. We'll get a little more room. And it'll be permanent over there. So we didn't waste any money. That's the good thing about this. Is we bought this pump knowing that we're going to use it for the house. We bought this knowing we're going to use it for the house. So we did it in stages to really try to save money. We did this. This was the last stage that we did. So now we're doing the last upgrade, which is to get the tank over there closer to the house, put this stuff in the house, and then the very last thing is going to be a big old rainwater harvesting off the top of the roof, which will be the last little thing. But at least this moving over there will get us one step closer. Okay, check it out. This is how we're getting out the rest of the water. We're just using a truck to ratchet it over slowly. You can see I'm off the ground about 10 inches. Hard to tell. Tackle drill. All right, so now my intake's right there, or outlet, whatever you want to say. I'm gonna try to pivot this that way, hopefully, and park it. I doubt it'll work, but we'll see. What does that look like? Ooh. Ooh. I can live with that. I think I want to kind of push it this way a little bit. Like that. A little bit more this way. Pretty close. Let's get this thing together. I'm going to do thread tape and sealant. I usually only do thread tape, but I only want to do this one time. So this is going to be the crucial cut. I don't want to cut it wrong, but I guess there's only one way to cut it. Is right. What do you think? Shit. Somewhere in there. These must be my old ones. Yeah, it was pretty long. Alright, I don't know if you guys ever seen these, but these are kind of cool. They have like a twist thread on it. And then the last is like just a regular barb. So you just put it in there like that. Might have to heat this up. And you just twist it in. Look how it's going in. It's pretty cool, right? But one, I think that's too high. I need to go down a little bit. All right, let's try this one more time. It doesn't matter about this watch, because this just goes right back on it. Right past it. Yep, I think as it goes down more, should be good.
I think that's crazy.
Down to the stopper. I might need to take some pressure off of this, dig that out a little bit. All right, let's cut some, take some of this out. Just don't want any pressure on it, you know? Imagine if I put too much pressure on it, it'll just kink. There you go.
You gotta cut it down some more.
Yep. Certainly do. Yeah, it'll never come off. Okay. Almost looks like a whole nother inch. Damn. Crazy. Okay. I'm thinking that's pretty good. This one's kind of cool too. It's got little handles on it.
Yeah, I see that. I'm trying to tell you.
This one doesn't have pressure, so we just don't want it dripping from the gravity. All right. See that? I don't even know if these crimpers will work, but we're gonna give it a try.
Why?
I don't know. But I have backup if they don't. Look at that. Perfect.
I see, said the blind man.
Okay, I'm gonna do 2 on each. We'll come back later and we'll put anti-freeze mechanisms on this, but for now, she's pretty good. Yeah. Let's see if this works. And I even bought hose clamps in case it leaks, so I have backup. I think it's not as tight as you think, but I don't think it matters on a hose like this, because it'll only ever be suction. Pretty nice. Let's get this pump disconnected. We'll disconnect it first, I think. Maybe get it out of here easy. Let's get it the bottom connected. I've drained all the pressure out of here. I'm just letting it kind of settle. It'd be nice to get this stuff out of here. Give us a little more room to live. The battery will still have to be here in the inverter just because we're not ready for that yet. Over there. But we are one step closer, man. This has been in here probably 4 years running. No problems. We really threw it together at one point. Just to get water out here, and it's been working ever since. We also knew that we were going to use this stuff, so when we bought the stuff, we knew that it would be used. It might be a little bit of water. Not much. There we go. Should be able to move. We have a little, this is the back of the trailer, it just drains right out. It's not a big deal to get water over here. It's a toy hauler, so it's meant for dirt and water and things to be in here. You go get a screwdriver, a 5-in-1 we're going to disconnect the power, and we'll go from there. All right, we're going to take this, we're going to unhook it here from the breaker box. I have it wired directly in there. So we're just going to real quick disconnect it. We're gonna do it live just because. So this is the breaker right here. Pull that off. All right, that bad boy should be disconnected. Let's get it going over here. All right, she's out of the way. Now that that's out of the way, let's continue on tearing out of here, stuff out of here. We're just gonna start hacking everything we can. Okay, let's take the tank out of here. I had this just kind of set in here with this little water heater strap a long time ago. So let's go ahead and take that off. We could probably even reuse it in the house if we want to, if we need it. All right, let's try to lift this tank out of there. I think I got everything, hopefully. Look at that. Woo. All right, let's get everything transferred over to the house. Okay. I went ahead off camera, just bolt that motor on, take some of the plastics off of the barb fittings. Now we're getting ready to plumb it into the tank. And I got, basically this is what we have. Okay, it's going to be brass to a spin down filter. And then over here is a check valve. So you want the water not to come back because let's say you're pumping the water this way and then your tank gets up to pressure. Once it gets up to pressure and turns off, the water's going to run back this way. So this will stop it from going back that way. And it'll turn off the pump and you'll have nice even pressure. So let's go ahead and bolt all that on. I found this, it's only 1 1/4 one I found out there on Amazon. It was, it's American made too, so this one's pretty nice. So I believe it's a 50 micron filter. And if any dirt comes in here, it'll spin down and go into here instead of going through the pump. Which there shouldn't be any dirt, but it's just in case. So let's go ahead and put that together. All right. There's that. Check it out. That's the little filter. See through it there. You just spin that up like that. Oh, look at, they put a little thing in there. Don't forget to get that out. I think it just goes up in there pretty easy. Do I have to stab it in there? Maybe that's a better way. There you go. And it has a little valve they sent. And this is just so whenever this thing gets some dirt in it, instead of taking it all apart, all you have to do is just open that valve, get a little bucket there. That'll spit the dirt out, close it, you're done. Bought a new cord here. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And then it's gonna plug in right here. And then I'll show you something cool about that. And then we'll keep going. Okay. See if I can lean down here and get the pictures right. I've went ahead and put on the electrical cord, so there's a plug-in now instead of it being direct wired. There it is right here. And then I'm going to show you a couple of things that I would suggest if you're doing this. One thing I did is I just went ahead and put all the pipes in. Cut them, put the little clamps on there, get it ready to go. But I haven't clamped anything yet. So it allows you to, if you made a mistake, you don't have to go back, but just finish the whole thing. The only thing that you want to make sure is if you do that, not to miss one, because you know, you go to turn it on, it's going to make a mess everywhere. So let's go ahead and we'll start crimping it. But so what I have here is I have the intake that goes in, the spin down filter that goes in here, and then it pumps 1 inch, which is the largest fitting they have there. What comes out 1 inch goes down into the pressure tank. Then from the pressure tank, once it reaches up to pressure, it switches off, and that way the pump isn't running all the time. Then from the bladder, there's an air bladder in here that pushes down on the water, which gives us fake gravity, which gives us water everywhere. That comes in here, pushes over here into another spin down filter, a little bit smaller one. I believe this is 100 micron. This was just old from before. We had it after the motor, but now we have one before and one after. Comes in here. We have 2 carbon filters in here. Comes out of here, rolls around here. UV. Whenever the whenever the pressure drops, it turns on the UV and then turns it off whenever it's not using it. So that's basically it. And then it goes out to this one goes to the washer and dryer right here, and then this one goes back down to the house. So we've made it. A lot of work going here. Didn't want to bore you with it, but that's basically it. So I'm going to go ahead and let's crimp these all up, and then we'll go ahead and turn it on. Crimped, oh, not crimped. Not crimped. Crimped. This shuts on and off the water to the garage. That was already there. That was in the house. We're just using it right now. We're going to be plumbing this whole house, so from here up we'll be redone 100%. So, all right. So crimp, over to here, crimp. That's been all done. Done. Let's go in the house. I'm gonna go in the house real quick and then come back. I'm gonna crimp the house one and then we'll come back and we're gonna go ahead and turn on the water, and I'll bring you back when I do that. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill this little container up right here with water. I pretty much took it all. Put the plug back on. What that's doing is that's just making sure that that pump doesn't run dry. I think it would have sucked it in. When I turned that tank on out there, the water just filled up right to there. So there is a seal somewhere holding it. Ooh, I don't want to crust thread it. Or there's some pressure, there's some water pressure is what I mean, not a seal. I want to make sure not to crust thread these things. These castings on these pumps are not very good. Now sometimes you'll have like a surging effect when everything is dry and there's tons of air. So you might have to run a hose or something to get the tank from stop bouncing. It kind of does a weird... We'll see if it does it this time. It did when I first did it the first time, 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, so we have that on, and then I wanted to show you guys something really cool. Actually, I'll leave that there. How I have an idea. If we're gone and we had a leak, we'll put some leak detectors. We'll put leak detectors all over, you know, like maybe one by the kitchen sink and one over here, and you know, wherever the water heater is going to be. And then let me show you something real quick. Let me grab my phone. I have this plug right here already hooked up to an internet. It's a smart plug. So if I see that I get an alarm, I can just turn off the pump and we won't continue to just drown the house. So I also added this shut off valve, so I'm going to shut this off just to make sure that right here is the only area that can leak. That way, you know, I don't have to worry about everywhere. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see if we can get it up to pressure. Watch this. Check this out. This is pretty cool. I'm just going to hit off my phone right here. We're going to go charger. It used to be a charger. I should, boom. Turn on the water. Look, it's pulling it through right there. It's got some dirt in there. All right. And building pressure already. Cool. I see no leaks. Yeah, see, it's got a lot of air in it. It's going to take longer than normal the first time when you pump it up. It worked. It worked. All right, so next, what I want to do is I'm going to run inside real quick. I'll be right back. I'm going to go turn on a hose, or turn on a faucet inside. we're going to bleed the air out of the system. But first I'll go open it, but then I'll come back here and then open that, and then I'll let it run. And then I'll grab you after it's running and we'll go inside. All right, let's go ahead and turn it on. And now this is coming through here, going through here, and it's going all the way back over to the house through here. And the pressure should go down and kick the pump back on. Let me run inside too real quick to make sure we don't have water spraying in there. That would be bad. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, it's running. It's still running inside. I'm trying to get all the air out. You can't really hear anything. Let's go ahead and turn this one on. This goes over to the washer and dryer. Boom. That's got water back on it now. I mean, that's it. Pretty cool. I don't see any leaks anywhere. It's running at, it looks like it's 50 PSI. It's going to go ahead, what it's going to do is it's going to go down, I believe, to 45, and then it'll kick on. I could be wrong. But that's pretty cool. Let me go ahead and give you a little overview. All right. So I have the shut off right there. That shuts the whole system off. I could change the filters, the UV light. The ballast isn't plugged in yet, and the bulb's not in there. We had a bulb burn out, so we're waiting on that. That comes from the tank to there, out through there, goes to the house. This one goes to the house, or the trailer, sorry, and then that one goes to the washer and dryer. I'm replumbing this whole thing right now. I don't know if you can see right there. You see the hot and cold, so the water heater is going to be in this area here. I'm going to hook all that up, and then we're going to kind of replumb this for the house. But for now, I just had to make this move, so I have pressure out here, full pressure. So that comes from the tank. And has the check valve, spin down filter, pump, and then the pump is also on a smart switch. So if we'll get some sensors if we saw a leak or something going down. It's kind of cool. And then that goes back to, see, this one goes, this is the supply for the trailer. Let's go over there real quick and I can show you the water running over there. Okay, look at that, it's running. Okay, so that was the filters and everything right there. That's the line that comes in, and then this goes into our trailer. I know it's not very nice and neat, but it's working for now. We'll clean it up later. It's been a long day. That used to be where the tank was. I still need to hook that back up so our plants can have water, but for today we're going to call it good. Thank you for watching the channel. Comment, like, and please subscribe. It really helps us. And comments really, I mean, they just don't push this video unless people are commenting. So please tell us what you think. We appreciate it. Thanks.